So in this video, we're going to be talking about nucleic acids. So nucleic acids are what make up DNA and RNA. And deoxyribonucleic acid, so that's a type of nucleic acid, stores genetic information in modern cells. So that's DNA. And RNA is encoded from DNA to make protein. So the central dogma is that DNA makes RNA makes protein. So it's actually proposed that RNA was the first life molecule. So evolutionarily, RNA is proposed to have come before DNA. And so this idea is called the RNA world hypothesis. And it proposes that RNA was able to store genetic information, but it was also able to copy and catalyze its own replication. And so DNA is very stable, and it's thought that it didn't really have these properties. And modern enzymes had to come along to help polymerize DNA. But once the self-replicating molecules evolved, chemical evolution gave way to biological evolution, and then we had the cell. And so what are nucleic acids? What are they made of? So what is a nucleic acid? A nucleic acid is a polymer of a nucleotide monomer. So what is a nucleotide? A nucleotide is made up of 3 components: a phosphate group, a 5-carbon sugar, and a nitrogenous base. So this might be something on the quiz. So a phosphate group is shown here in yellow. These are just pictorial representations of what these might look like. A 5-carbon sugar, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons, and a nitrogen-containing base, or a nitrogenous base. And so both the phosphate group and the nitrogenous base are linked to the sugar. And so here the nitrogen is linked to what we call as the 1' carbon. And so you can start counting the carbons after this oxygen here. And so we have 1', 2', 3', 4', and 5' carbon. And the 5' carbon is where the phosphate group is attached. So there are some differences between RNA and DNA, these nucleotides that make up nucleic acids. And one of the differences is in the sugar. So ribonucleic acids, the monomers that make up RNA, have a ribose sugar. And that ribose sugar has a hydroxyl group at the 2' carbon. So right here, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a hydroxyl group at the 2' carbon. And deoxyribose does not have a 2' hydroxyl group. Okay, so here's just a hydrogen. And it's called deoxyribose because it's a ribose that lacks oxygen. But it's important to note that both still have the 3' hydroxyl group. Okay, just ribose has an additional hydroxyl group. There's also differences in the bases in RNA and DNA. So there are 2 groups of hydrogenous bases. There are the pyrimidines, which have 6 atoms in their ring, and they include cytosine, uracil, or thymine. And so an easy way to remember what's a pyrimidine is that pyramids, right, they have this triangle shape, can cut, right? If you point the pyramid and cut stands for C-U-T, or cytosine, uracil, and thymine, cut. Purines contain 9 atoms in their 2 rings. So purines have 2 rings, shown here, adenine and guanine. And the reason to point out 9 atoms is because these ones that have more atoms have 2 rings, and they end in 9. So adenine and guanine are both the purines. And so those are just easy mnemonics to remember which one's a pyrimidine and which one's a purine. Now, in RNA, the purines are cytosine and uracil. And in DNA, the pyrimidines, I didn't say pyrimidines before, I meant pyrimidines, are cytosine and thymine. So those are some differences in the bases. And as we'll talk about in the 3rd video, cytosine pairs with guanine in DNA, and they interact via hydrogen bonds, 3 hydrogen bonds. And in DNA, adenine pairs with thymines, and these pair by two hydrogen bonds. And we'll talk about that later, but since we were talking about bases, I wanted to mention base pairing. So in summary, some of the differences. In RNA, we have this hydroxyl group with the 2' carbon, not in DNA, and the pyrimidines in DNA include cytosine and thymine, CD, and in RNA they contain cytosine and uracil. So those are some of the differences. And then the next video, I'm going to talk about how these monomers polymerize, how these nucleotides polymerize to form nucleic acids.